Hello, Leo Rising. This is Scopes Unshamed for July 2026. I'm Britten LaRue. Let's get started. So, you may have heard, July's kind of a big month astrologically, like really big. And you may have heard scary things about that. You may have heard very exciting things about that, or you may not have ever heard that. And you're now like, tell me how to feel about that. Yeah. So I'm going to share with you what my take about that is, and especially as I see it for you. So the reason it's big is that the three outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, this month are moving into like exact configuration of being able to see one another from the signs that they're currently in. And the exciting thing is that they are in conversation with one another. They are in dialogue with one another in very supportive positions that are helping us with change. All the outer planets bring destabilization. All of the outer planets help us with change, help us with emergence. Um, I'm Britten LaRue of Emergence Astrology, and my book is Living Astrology. And I'm interested in magic most of all, and magic is change, and emergence is change. And the outer planets are my dear friends because they bring change. However, as exciting as that can feel sometimes, or like theoretically, we humans most fear change because we fear the unknown. So even if aspects of our life are disappointing to us, and if things feel fairly shitty, we'll still be afraid of change because it's unknown. So in my world, what I like to do is help my students become more and more comfortable in the body, somatically and energetically, with holding mystery and holding the unknown so that we can be more available to change that we want to have happen, change that will be empowering for us, nourishing for us, delicious for us, change we're really going to love. So the outer planets are speaking to one another in a very helpful way. And in this month, there's even another piece, which is that Jupiter has just moved into Leo. And so now Jupiter is in the same configuration of dialogue. Meanwhile, Mars and Saturn can see each other from where they are having discussions, having conversations. And then the moon is going around and touching everything and like creating even more lines of sight as it moves all around our charts and around the sky, just like bringing a lot up. So, what do we do with this information? What do we do with this information in Scopes Unshamed? So, first of all, you can't fuck anything up. You don't need to manage this. You don't need to manage this. Just follow the signs that are already being presented to you regarding change. So, already in 2026, you've been feeling this. You've been feeling the invitation to change. You've been getting lots of data about this from your life. Your life is inviting you to see where you could update patterns, where you could update relationships, contracts, where you can update how you do things so that you can be more coherent with who you are in present time. At this time, what feels true to me that the planets are inviting you to be available for this. Because the more available you are, the more you will agree. You will agree that this or that needs to be released. This or that is just not how I see it anymore. This that used to give me pleasure is not anymore. This that used to be so compelling is not compelling anymore. My life is constellating around other things that compel me now. And that's where I want to give my attention more and more. So when we don't have this context, it can feel frightening because we're like, why are these things changing? Like, why am I no longer interested in that? I thought that's what I wanted. Why does this seem to be kind of like moving out of my reach when previously having it in my reach was my most pressing concern? You may start to realize like relational patterns that were built on old attachment styles from your childhood, like the pattern isn't holding anymore. And this is good. I mean, realizing codependent patterns in your relationship that are ready to go, that's a gift. It's a gift. But it just may feel weird because you're like, oh, previously, like I needed to latch on to you so much more than right now. I'm like, oh, I'm good. I'm good. I got myself. He's like, is something wrong? No, nothing's wrong. There's nothing wrong. You are maturing through change, and the planets are supporting you. With Jupiter coming into Leo, this is coming in, Jupiter is coming into your first house and is going to cross your ascendant sometime in the next year, maybe multiple times. Jupiter is often considered a planet that brings good fortune, abundance, but Jupiter also like amplifies and expands what is already here. And so at the beginning here in July, Jupiter is opposite Pluto in Aquarius, moving through your seventh house of relationships. And over a long period of time, and heightened when Pluto's going over your descendant or any planets that are in your seventh house. It's okay if you don't know your chart that well. But there may be heightened periods of Pluto, like really showing what is unhealthy about relational dynamics. And it may feel painful at the time that these are being highlighted. But then on the other side of it, like that old pattern is gone for good. And this is amazing. I just went through this watching a loved one through this, and it was like clockwork and very, very uncomfortable for this person. And now they are like in a completely different situation in terms of choosing partnerships based on very different factors. Now choosing partners on factors, and I mean friend and romantic, choosing based on factors that like are coming from a much deeper place of self-love and self-care and not having any patience for what harms us relationally, you know? So that's just an example of how it can have an intensity. And that was right when this loved one had it on their descendant, but it'll only be that intense when it's like on something. So, my point is, what I'm getting back to is that Jupiter here is going to be opposite Pluto for you in a very, very, very important part of your chart, which is your first house, seventh house. And I use a whole sign system. So you have Leo for me across your entire first house. That may not be how you read your chart, but that's how I read it. So Jupiter may dilate what you are learning with Pluto before it's doing anything else with your first house. It's just like dilating what Pluto's work is. And everybody on planet Earth is experiencing this. Everybody on planet Earth will be having Jupiter opposite Pluto this month, but it's escalating over the course of the window between the 15th and the 25th is the peak window where everything in the sky is talking to each other from the 15th to the 25th. So in that window is like the peak intensity of like, look at the data of your life. What's going on in your life is sharing with you everything that you need to know about what this means. The universe will be very clear with you so that you get it. So, what you're being shown is what needs to get updated into present time for maximum self love, maximum liberation for all people. So, this may mean that, like, that all sounds wonderful. However, if you're insisting, like some part of you is insisting on staying with this person who is not loving to you and persistently shows you this, and you refuse to see that data, and the planets are like going to make you look at it. Is it loving or is it not loving, right? Like it depends on what the perspective it is that you have. If you can see it from the high level of, this is not here to torture me, this is to help me extricate myself from the situation that is unloving and unkind to myself. But right now, it's incredibly painful and hard because I have attachment patterns that were carved into me. I'm innocent, but they were carved into me by the outside world, maybe your caregivers, that would have me believe that I deserve this. And so, as painful as it is to let go, I am going to do that. I'm speaking very like directly now, but that's to give you an example of the kind of thing that I mean that could be coming up for you, Leo rising. So it's really important to understand that you have different parts of yourself. You have these protector parts that are like holding you in your old patterns, and you have your soul that's taking you places, that wants the most expansive, loving, compassionate thing for you, most liberating thing for you. And these different parts of you may feel a little in a battle as the data comes in. But ultimately, as I'm saying, all of this astrology looks very supportive. Like it's just like, huh, love, here's the door, walk through it. On the other side, you're going to be cheering. It's like this very excited, this change that you're like able to make because you can see this is what I need to do for myself and I'm going to do it. So I can't wait to see what starts to happen for everybody. If you have any data that comes from this time, please come back and drop it in the comments. Maybe make a note to yourself to come listen to this again between the 15th and the 25th to remember and to resource yourself with what comes up. So thank you so much. Again, I'm Britten LaRue. My book is Living Astrology, and I would love to be connected to you if you want to say hi.